So we're gonna have to do a draft recap, and then we're gonna have to do.
What?
So we're
Sorry,
gonna
you
have to
cut
do,
off a second.
We're gonna have to do a draft recap, and then. So what do we want to do with that? Do we want to do, go through the first round, talk about our teams, talk about the teams that we like had the best draft, or go straight through the first round? Like I don't care.
Yeah, I mean, obviously our teams, and then like surprises. The first round. I mean, the first round is really the most important, and then I guess we could pick like a winner and a loser.
Okay. Cool. Sounds good to me. Sweet. I just got the whole draft, pick by pick. Who was your guy again?
Forbes?
Who?
Annual Forbes?
No. Like your wise guy.
Oh, DJ Turner.
Cool. He went to the Bengals.
He went to
The Bengals.
Bengals.
Yep.
ESPN's Todd McShay picks DJ Turner as Cincinnati Bengals' best 2023 pick. Nice.
Nice.
There we go.
All right, I'm just pulling up draft grades for all of them.
Yeah.
And then I always love looking at draft grades because they're all so pointless. All right.
I saw it on Twitter today that was like, my other was the Mahomes draft. He got a C minus.
Yeah, I saw that today. All right, you ready?
Yep.
I guess let me pull up the stupid Celtics score. Man, Suns Nuggets was a low scoring game. I wouldn't know. I turned off basketball. I was done. I went to bed yesterday at I think it was like 10:45. I was just like, I don't want to look on Twitter. I don't want to do anything, honestly. It's already that dire. All right.
Have you smashed anything?
No. If my girlfriend wasn't with me yesterday, I probably would have. I try not to be too embarrassing.
I had to put her through that. That's tough.
Yeah. Yeah, she had to deal with me.
With Celtics.
Say again?
At first, or you want to start with the Celtics?
No. Let's do draft.
All
right. I'm changing the font and then setting up the. Ooh, now that is a pretty font. All right, and then now I'm posting it to Snapchat, and we're good to go.
The Dickinson podcast comes out at 4:30.
Oh boy, good thing we
I
started.
don't know if he's actually gonna. I don't know if he's actually gonna commit. He might just build hype tomorrow. That's what my insider thinks.
That's lame. So he's pulling a Rodgers.
Yeah. Yes, he's been taking so long.
All right, well let's get this started.
He'd be crushed.
All right. Grab my water real quick.
NFL to give everybody an A.
What'd you say?
The Lions got a C minus. I'm looking at the first round grades and like everyone got A's.
That's what I was looking at too. It seemed
Well,
like a ton of them
ridiculous.
just said A's. Um,
Rams got an A even though they didn't have a pick.
yeah, I saw that too. It was like day
What?
1, A minus. All right.
I guess because they won the Super Bowl. That's why they got. That's so stupid.
All right. So what we're gonna?
Often C minus. Alright, I'll stop.
You ready?
Hearted. Yeah.
All right. Let's get started. In 3, 2. God, I can't deal with looking at my hair backwards because I always think it looks terrible. All right. 3, 2, 1. Hello and welcome to the Wise Guys podcast. I'm your host, Brady Fitzgerald, joined as always by my co-host, Chris Hagan. You got cut off. We didn't get to hear how you're doing.
You guys doing?
There you go. How are you doing, Chris?
Sorry. I'm anxious. I'm very anxious. It's possible he's in commitment day. They're on the podcast at 4:30. So if he does commit on the podcast, we'll also hear it live on here. So I'll either be crushed or overjoyed. Not expecting it necessarily, but I might be a little distracted.
That's all right. That's all right.
A disclaimer for the next 30 minutes or so.
We got 10 minutes of your full attention. That's all right. So
that's right.
Why didn't we have a pod Friday, Chris? What were you doing?
I was in beautiful Myrtle Beach, your territory.
Great state of South Carolina.
Basically a whole motel rented out to our whole fraternity.
Wow.
Was something else. It was one of those places that's like designed for big vacations.
Yeah.
For like seniors or like Greek organizations. So it was like the perfect place for 120 dudes and their dates. But
wow.
Yeah, it was a good time. Weather was nice. Water was beautiful. I'll back up here where it's like 55 and rainy.
That is that's a long trip for like a beach. What was it, like a beach weekend?
Yes, it was between 7 and 8 hours, and the way back was like pouring rain. We were going 40 miles an hour on 95 north. You're normally going 80, so yeah, it was pretty brutal on the way back. I'd say it was worth it though. Just for the water. Like the water in April in Myrtle Beach was nicer than the water in Ocean City in like July.
Oh, I believe it. I 100% believe it.
Oh, that was nice.
Well, that's a nice little weekend. Yeah, we definitely, now that I realized it was a fraternity trip, we definitely could not have done a pod on Friday. I know how I know how those go. In
the room, we had 3 floors, and then, so like, there were 6 rooms a floor, but the rooms had, I don't know, like 4 or 5 beds, couches, whatever, and they're all connected. So, not really like a nice private getaway or anything. But a pod would have been very difficult.
Oh, I'm sure. All right. So we have some stuff to recap, some stuff to get through. Did Lamar sign before Thursday's episode? Because that's where we got to start off, I think. I mean, I was wondering why you were silent for a second, but that's because I lost connection. Hello?
I'm not sure. I don't remember talking about it though.
Oh, did you? All right. Are we back now? Are we back on the same page, internet-wise?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah. We're good.
All right, cool. All right, well, Lamar Jackson is officially signed to be the Ravens. Lots of money. Finally got it done, and now they got to put a team together to win a Super Bowl. So that's that. I mean, I don't really know what else. Like that's what I'm gonna say. So let's go to the draft. So number 1, Carolina Panthers. It was pretty chalk. Everyone thought it was going to happen, and there it was. Bryce Young. He goes to the Panthers. They have an offense built around him with veterans already. They're going to be They're going to be a decent enough team. Their division's ass, so they should be right in the middle of the pack. And yeah, but where it gets interesting is really honestly, the rest of the draft is super interesting. But starting with the Houston Texans, they're staying at 2. They stay at 2. They take CJ Stroud, and then the supposed Arizona Cardinals come up, and boom, it's the Houston Texans again.
It was weird, and it kind of seemed unnecessary.
Mm-hmm.
Go get that pick. What was the other pick that they had?
They had 12.
Was 12? Yeah, I mean, just seemed like a little odd that they would trade back up to go get defender and not a quarterback. Like, obviously they weren't going to take another quarterback. That spot seemed like the spot where somebody would trade up to get a quarterback.
Yeah, it was definitely an interesting move.
A huge surprise.
They traded the 33rd pick in this draft, a first next year, and a 3rd round pick next year, and the 12th pick in this draft to move up to Will Anderson. So they give up the first next year. The Texans, we know they're going to be bad, so that could be a top 10 pick right there. And you go up and you get Will Anderson when, to me, I like the move. You get probably if people, whatever your feeling of the quarterbacks, and then the best player in the draft as well. I like that going up, but it's also a lot to give up for a team who needs a lot more than just Will Anderson.
Yeah, exactly. Obviously, he was projected to be the first defender off the board. Seemed like the easy pick. Still, you think they could have traded up back inside the top 10 and given up a lot less. Get maybe Tyree Wilson or Jalen Carter. Which we were saying could, there were mocks that had both those guys going ahead of Will Anderson.
Yeah,
it wasn't like a Chase Young situation where he was by far the best.
Definitely an interesting move. It seemed like from all the rumors coming out beforehand, all the questions of will they just take Will Anderson at 2 and wait for a quarterback at 12. So it seemed like there was definitely some noise in there that whether the GM or, I'm guessing the owner wanted the quarterback, and then the GM probably wanted Will Anderson. So I guess they just met in the middle and were like, screw it. Just
get them both.
Yeah, let's get them both. So It seems like over in Houston, they're happy about it. But if you're a Houston fan, which I don't know of any, but you got to be worried about that pick next year because it's probably going to be top 10.
I would think so, unless CJ Stroud is rookie RG3.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, or he just needs to be. He needs to be somewhere between rookie RG3 and rookie Mac Jones for them to not give up a top 10 pick.
Yeah,
all right.
I would like to thank Ethan for being so confident about the Stroud pick because I did bet on it.
Nice.
Hit it at plus 400.
That's awesome.
Oh, that was nice.
So, number 4, the Colts come up. They get their quarterback of the future in Anthony Richardson, possibly the highest ceiling in this class, but also the lowest floor in this class. Excited to see what other pieces they put around him and how they fill out that roster and how he looks his rookie year. But the Colts, I'm just happy to see them have a guy that they can look for not just 1 year and look for the future.
Yeah, well, and the other thing about Richardson is they just had the same boring white quarterback. Vince, Matt Ryan. Well, Phil Rivers isn't boring, but even Luck.
Well, and even Jacoby Brissett, he's black and boring.
Sad, right? Yeah. but now you get Richardson, who, like you said, he has the highest ceiling. He's Lamar Jackson comparisons. He's incredibly athletic. It'll be weird seeing a guy like that in a Colts uniform just because of how bland they've been.
The second he runs, we're all gonna lose our minds.
Yeah, right. Holy crap. And that's why it's one of my favorite picks. They didn't have to they didn't really have to do anything to go get him either.
No, it fell right to him, and so those 3 quarterbacks taken, and then we'll talk about him later when we get to the Titans, but then Will Levis just seen in the green room the rest of the first round.
So sad.
That was sad. But we could talk about that in a little bit. Let's just nail out a couple of these picks. So Devin Witherspoon, we talked about the Seahawks getting a defender. Like that pick, adds to their secondary.
I don't think that was too early.
I mean, they could have gone. Of course, they could have gone Jalen Carter. The other cornerbacks fell to our teams, so it seems like there wasn't a
Oh, the
big.
one didn't fall at all.
Yeah, one got reached and one fell right in my lap. But we'll get to that when we get to our teams. But they take what they. I'm guessing that's what they're. I mean, I'm guessing on their big board that was their best defender. So that's what they went with. I do like it. I think Devin Witherspoon's a good player, and just adding more depth in the corners where this defense desperately needs it. Also, while we're on the Seahawks, they all the way at pick 20, Jackson Smith and Figba fell to them, and that is just like a perfect complementary piece to Lockett and DK Metcalf. I thought that was an excellent pick. They didn't have to trade up at all, and it just fell right in their laps.
Yeah, and that's a guy who started as a complimentary piece and then end up becoming one of the top 2 receivers on the team if one of those guys leaves. Which probably not that far away from it. I don't know what Lockett's contract situation is, but it feels like he's been in the league for a while. So I wouldn't be surprised if he's on pretty soon.
Yeah, so he's 30 years
old. It's just like
old.
a move. You're keeping the future in mind.
Yeah, and you're helping out Geno. You didn't get a quarterback. You didn't put any pressure behind him, and you're helping to ride him out for. I mean, they have him. I think it was a 3-year contract. In today's NFL, it's more like a 1-year deal, and so you ride it out with him, and you see what more production you can get from him. I like it a lot. Cardinals, they then traded up again with the Lions. I don't know what they gave up in that one for pick 6, and they got themselves an offensive tackle. They only traded the 96 pick, the 12th pick, and all right, to the Detroit Lions for number 122, 139. Is this like a later? No, okay, they traded up. All right, I meant that first round. Whatever. Anyways, they trade up. They get themselves an offensive tackle. Yeah, they moved down to 12, and they sent the Detroit Lions pick 81 and a second round. All right, I'm sorry. I'm totally losing it. Cardinals get the 6th
prep
pick.
for this.
As you could tell, I prepped for it. Anyways, whatever the hell the package is, they got up. They're taking Paris Johnson. I like him. He's a big boy. Help out Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray probably can't see over him. You get more assets by trading down beforehand, and you're losing some trading up, but you still have a lot of assets. They got a young team, and this is a cornerstone on the offensive line to build around.
They netted a first-round pick, 2024 first-round pick.
Yes.
Make things super simple.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, this was another one that like this is probably what they wanted to begin with. They probably could have begun with 3 if they didn't want the defender. So no complaints if I'm a Cardinals fan for this.
Yep. Going to the Raiders. Tyree Wilson going to the Raiders. This was another one. Kind of fell right in their laps. I like this pick. It's funny because they were talking about him and Michael Mayer, and they're like, and now Jimmy G. They're like, the Vegas Raiders are the handsomest team in the NFL. Because apparently,
is Tyree Wilson a handsome-looking guy?
Apparently, he's a handsome-looking guy. Yeah, I think he's a handsome-looking guy.
Good. Yeah, he's sharp.
He's a sharp fellow. So they get him
the Meyer hair, but
they don't have. Meyer looks like
dude, I guess.
Meyer looks like a sculpture, you know, like that's what his hair and like face reminds me of, like some ancient Greece guy sculpted him. All right, let's just
go on before things get a little weird.
Yeah, exactly. All right, Bijan Robinson to the Atlanta Falcons. Did you like this pick, or do you think it was a reach?
I don't know if it was a reach, but I also don't know if that was like need for Atlanta. I'm wondering if they had already scratched Jalen Carter off, that they didn't really want him. And
I don't get it.
Expecting Tyree Wilson or Witherspoon maybe. didn't get those guys went earlier than they thought maybe, and they were like, all right, well, he's the best skill player in the draft. Let's just go get him. I don't hate it. I guess if you're going best player and that's who their best player was, fair enough. But I was surprised by it.
I just don't get how you can be picking in the top 10 every single year and you keep drafting offensive players. At some point,
Especially
something has to
running
change.
back, and it's like we've talked so much about running back just not being a position of need, and it's like here's the team that is struggled in the draft basically.
Mm-hmm.
And then right, it's like they don't learn from it.
Well, and it's
I don't know, like maybe he's the best running back in the league this year.
And there's a possibility of it. Maybe not next year, but a couple following years. And it makes sense. I mean, they had Arthur Smith had Derrick Henry and Jonnu Smith and AJ Brown during his time in Tennessee. So now they have Drake London, Kyle Pitts, and Bijan Robinson, kind of like the younger versions of all of them. But to me is when you could produce 1,000-yard rusher off an undrafted guy last year, and you have Cordell Patterson. I see more value in taking a defensive guy here, but that's what they went for, and we're gonna have to see it. This offense it better light up the world. This offense better light up the world. It has a first round pick everywhere you look.
And that's it. Like the other thing is, regardless of who they get and how well they perform, it's still the success of the offense hinges on Ritter.
Oh yeah,
That's the piece that has to perform.
And normally,
like Robinson is a dynamic player, but I don't know how much he's going to change this offense.
Yeah, it all depends on Ritter, and maybe I'm being hypercritical and a little bit of a hypocrite because I'm always like, just try to put your quarterback in the best position, especially when they're young. So they are doing that, but I could have seen someone, and with all the other guys falling, maybe it was just like, this is the best guy on the board by a mile. Let's just take him.
Yeah. And again, like if that's your draft board, and I never hate that strategy, especially picking in the top 10, like just get the guy that you like the most.
Mm-hmm.
And like at the end of the day, what do we know?
Yeah, exactly.
I have faith in Arthur Smith.
So speaking of getting the guy that you want the most, the Philadelphia Eagles trade up one pick with the Chicago Bears, and all hell breaks loose. Jalen Carter is now a Philadelphia Eagle. He is going in with the rest of the Georgia boys that they drafted. They drafted Nolan Smith with the 30th pick. He fell all the way to 30. They took him too. They got Kelly Ringo in the next round. They are just rebuilding this Georgia national championship team, sorry. And I mean, I hate the Eagles, but I love it. Like this is like that. That's how you build a team. Like this is how you build a team.
Scenario.
Mm-hmm. And with talking about all the guys they lost in free agency and how they're going to be a different team next year, they're still the best team. They're the best roster in the NFL, and they are poised to win this next Super Bowl.
I feel like it's overblown how much they actually ended up losing.
Yeah.
The offseason.
Yeah.
It was going into the offseason, it was like they're going to lose all these people. It felt like they actually were able to re-sign a decent amount of them.
Oh, yeah. I mean, they got
then you just replaced D-line in the draft.
Yep. You got C.J. Gardner-Johnson back there, right? And you got James Bradbury back there, and you got Darius Slay back there. So now you just have a bunch of young pieces to fit with them and grow with them. So they're going to be the best team in the NFL, which sucks. Bears Titans really quickly. I like both their picks. They need an offensive line. They got offensive line. The worst pick in the first round, number 12, the Detroit Lions take running back Jahmyr Gibbs out of Alabama. The Detroit Lions were here poised with the 6th pick and the 18th pick. And they screwed up both of them. Traded down. They got a running back with the 12th overall pick. They then had flipped their running back, who was good and people liked, to the Eagles, because of course the Eagles. And now I don't know what they're doing here.
It's like, again, like you went running back early a few years ago with DeAndre Swift and it didn't work. Just cut your losses. You don't have to draft another one in the first round.
And they just got
I don't know.
They just got the guy from the
Gibbs.
Bears who's good. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know what they're doing. Running back is just so easy to find. How the hell are you spending the 12th pick on one?
Especially when you trade down.
I know, and especially when like
And it's like you
everyone
now
was
have
saying,
these assets. It's like, why is the top pick that you're going to use for running back?
and everyone was saying after like before this draft, like if the Lions kill this draft, like they're Super Bowl contenders. They are in contention for the NFC, and I like the rest of their picks. A little bit of 18. I don't really like 18 that much, Jack Campbell. But they had a good day 2 and 3, but this first pick was pretty bad.
It was very strange,
It was.
at least.
It was very strange. I also, speaking of picks I didn't like, Green Bay Packers doing Packer things, taking a developmental pass rusher who the comp was like his highest comp was like Preston Smith, who was already on the team.
Yeah.
So I don't like that pick at all.
Smith set to turn 31 years old. Van Ness will work in rotation with him and should be considered his eventual replacement.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, fine, I guess. You just signed Jordan Love to 1-year extension. I think that, again, we've been saying it the whole time, that they never gave Rodgers a receiver. Like, now that you have your new guy, probably get him some more help at receiver, maybe. I remember the podcast where we listed depth chart at receiver, and it's shockingly bad.
Yeah,
Maybe those guys step up, but I don't know. It seemed like a spot where you didn't have to reach for a receiver, or you could have traded down. They didn't do either of those things.
Their next 2 picks were Luke Musgrave, tight end that I like, and Jalen Reed, which I don't know much about Jalen Reed, but he's a wide receiver. So they did end up drafting, and they got Tucker Kraft too, another tight end. So they ended up getting guys to help him out and another wide receiver. So they kept doing that. They did get some help, but it just I don't know. I think Luke's Van Ness is kind of a reach.
I definitely agree there.
All right. Now it's do you want to just I mean, Pats traded down, Steelers traded up. They got Broderick Jones. I wasn't happy when it happened. I saw Christian Gonzalez was still there, and I was just like bite the bullet and take him, but they ended up getting him at 17. So, we'll get to that after we talk about the Commanders. But Steelers get Broderick Jones, help out the offensive line. That was a mess last year. A good tackle that I like. Jets, major reach for Will McDonald. I didn't really like that pick. I didn't understand it. But I guess just boostering a defense that is already pretty good. Now the Commanders.
Wasn't that a reach too?
Who?
Donald pick. I was shocked when they took him.
McDonald?
Shocked, but
Oh, I was
kinda
shocked.
like had to
Yeah,
look
that's
at
a
it, I was like,
reach.
who?
Yeah, I had no idea who that guy was. That was definitely a reach.
Yeah, Commanders pick. Gonzalez was still there. I assumed that's who they were going with because he fell right into their lap. I don't know. We're
Oh no. Can't
kind
lose.
of past the point
Wait,
where
wait,
I just
wait,
trust Ron whatever he does.
Sorry, you got cut off right at the Commanders time. So what I heard is that you're losing faith in Ron.
Yeah, well, it used to be like whatever he does, let's just trust him. Obvious reasons, it's hard to keep that mindset.
Mm-hmm.
But they've drafted okay. Like the Davis pick was not good. That was a reach. The Dotson pick was also a reach, but he was excellent.
I love Dotson.
I don't know what to think. They kind of they have their board and they stick to it, which is fine. And if they had Forbes ranked ahead of Gonzalez, and they've watched a little bit more football than me, so I can't hate it too much. It just seems like you could have gotten him a little bit lower, just a little bit small. But that's like the only criticism of him.
Yeah,
Also has long arms.
He when I was listening to a draft pod this whole offseason, they referred to Emmanuel Forbes as Flat Stanley because when he turns
I don't
over,
like
he
that.
looks 2D. Yeah.
I don't like that at all.
I don't know. I don't think he's a bad player, but I was very excited that they picked him. I was pumped because Christian Gonzalez fell right to the Pats. Um, you texted me afterwards. You said there's got to be something wrong with Christian Gonzalez. So
Well,
that
he was the 8th ranked prospect and he fouled at 17.
no, it makes sense. Yeah, there has to be something that the other teams didn't like about him for him to fall this far. So I don't know. I like him. All the film that I've been seeing, everyone in Patriots Nation's very hype. But I mean,
I'm sure they are.
all that matters is what happens on the field. So we'll see. We desperately needed a corner though. I'm glad we have a big, lanky corner that that helps out the defensive backs, and our defensive backfield is looking pretty good. So we'll see how those work out. It'll be a good little battle between us to see Forbes versus Gonzalez, how they do their rookie season. But
That's like a long-term Wise Bowl.
yes, exactly. It'll be hilarious if they're both terrible. They're just both awful. But
Oh, I mean, if I go down, I want to bring you down right with me. I will actively root against Christian Gonzalez if Emmanuel Forbes is a bust. Just to make myself feel better, do you want to hear a scouts analysis? Or this is Mike Girardi, who I guess is a NFL guy. He said, ask personnel, execs, scouts from 5 different teams their thoughts about why Gonzalez fell. Here are the reasons: lack of physicality, not just in the run game. Concerns about play big games. He was bad against Georgia this year, which left a mark. And then 2 of the personnel guys wondered if Gonzalez has the competitive spirit to go from good to great. So,
woof.
Suck it.
That's not very good. All right.
It's also 5 scouts out of like hundreds.
Yeah, out of all the hundreds. Yeah, you're right. So
he was a consensus top 10 guy.
It'll be interesting to see those.
I feel like we would have heard about those things beforehand, but it's almost like guys are picking stuff up after to explain it.
Could be, definitely could be. So, the next, let's just run through the rest of the surprises. We already talked about Jackson with the Jigba. Then the wide receiver ran. The run on wide receivers came in. I don't like the Chargers getting Quentin Johnson. I think he's like the same thing as Mike Williams. They just got Mike Williams too, and then Zay Flowers went to the Ravens.
There?
Yeah, I would have. I mean, I like Zay Flowers too. I think Zay Flowers is. I mean, it might be a Marquise Brown type deal with the Ravens, but hopefully they can put him in a good position to win. Jordan Addison went right after to the Minnesota Vikings. So these 4 wide receivers.
That was kind of a weird pick. Vikings going receiver?
I don't know. Like a lot of the mocks had them going either quarterback or like trading up for one of the top quarterbacks or a wide receiver. And I guess because they lost Thielen. Guess that's why.
But I guess you don't really have a number 2 there.
Your boy.
Their defense was just so bad, so
yeah, they definitely needed some defense help.
Yeah, my boy. Hate to see him end up in New York.
Good spot for him though. New York needed him.
Yes. Yeah, I can't really root for him.
No, you can't really root for him, which sucks. I just want to run through these last couple ones. So Bills, they traded up. They got Dalton Kincaid. They said, screw it. All the wide receivers went. Let's just take a tight end. That'll help us out. I like that pick. I think that we talked about how they need another threat, another guy to help out Josh Allen in the playoffs. So like that pick for the Bills. The Cowboys, you know anything about this guy, Mozzie Smith?
Not really. I remember having him at the end of my mock draft.
I don't remember. When he came, I was kind of surprised. I don't really know much about this guy. And with Brian Breezy and Miles Murphy right there, I don't know about this one.
I don't know either. Guess they needed interior help more and like an edge guy.
Yeah, I guess so.
Right?
Yeah, I guess so. So then Jags get an offensive tackle. We talked about it. That was a good spot for them, taking a nice offensive tackle, trading down and getting assets to then take one. I like it. Bengals getting Miles Murphy, like that a lot. Help out, try to stop Mahomes anytime you can, every time they face him. Trying to get a guy on that edge to really set the tone against the Chiefs. and everyone else, of course. Saints, I mean,
Mhm.
we knew they were taking a D tackle. They needed a D tackle. They got Brian Breezy. Um, Nolan Smith, we already talked about, ended up in Philly because, of course, the NFL just hates everyone but the Eagles, I guess. Just wants them to get every good first round pick. And then the last pick of the first round was Felix Anuke Uzama. I don't know who he is.
I hadn't heard of him.
But it let Joey Porter Jr. fall
Doesn't matter.
perfectly to the Pittsburgh Steelers. He's back where his dad played. It's like a perfect fit there, match made in heaven almost. Um,
Mhm. And then like going at 17.
I know. I thought he
So
wasn't going to make it past 14. So that's a great value for them at 32. And just think about it. They basically got Joey Porter for Chase Claypool. You do that 10 times out of 10.
yeah, you'll take that.
Titans, they got Will Levis. They got a guy that people thought they'd have to trade up to 3 for at 33. There's definitely something wrong with him. But
Matt Miller's NFL comp is Carson Wentz.
ooh. Ooh.
So I guess you could say that's something that's wrong with him.
Yeah. Yeah,
Although the
that's
comps mean nothing, of course, but I like to overreact about them, and that's not great.
Yeah, I mean, Will Levis, so I do like the Titans getting him in the second round. You don't have to trade up any assets. I mean, I guess they did trade up technically in this second round to get him, but you didn't have to give up anything for a first round pick, a top 10 pick, anything like that. You got him some offensive tackle help in the first round. You get some more help, or you get him in the second round. I mean, it's not like he's in the worst spot in the world. Other comparisons I saw was Ryan Tannehill. So you're going in with maybe just conveying the playbook to him. Like this is a pat. We'll have you sit the bench for a year, and then we'll see how you do as a starter in 2024. Or yeah.
Mm. Yeah, definitely.
So I
Because they
don't
don't
love
need
that.
it this year.
No, no, they don't need it next year. So I don't hate that. It would be interesting to see if Tannehill does get moved around. Maybe at some point in the season, maybe a quarterback gets injured. Maybe he just gets cut. They save money. I don't know, but that'll be an interesting camp to see if Levis gets the starting job or not. I'm guessing not, but it'll be definitely interesting for sure. All right, other picks that you liked, either on the Commanders or just in general.
Uh, one that I didn't like was our second round pick.
Who do you guys get in the second
Took
round?
safety in the second round. Uh, Artavius Martin from Illinois. I don't know what the fuck they're doing. You went D back in the first round, and then like you have two young safeties already, and then you draft another safety in the second round. And you had like plenty of linemen that you could have taken. You had Cody Marsh was on the board, Byron Torrance was on the board. I don't know what the game plan is there. I would
Yeah,
love to be enlightened.
definitely a weird one there. I guess Brian Branch went right 2 picks above him, so that kind of blows. So
Yeah, I was saying how much I like Brian Branch. I thought he would be a first round pick, but mine's getting him at 45 is a good deal.
yeah, they was just, the lines really did like. I like Sam Laporta. I heard good things about him out of any Tennessee or tight end out of Iowa is good. Um, Brian Branch I like a lot too. They got Hendon Hooker later in the rounds. People were mocking them to
I called
trade up.
that one.
Yeah, that was
I
great.
didn't have it, or I had it in the first round, but I had Lions getting them. So
Yeah, I like that a
congrats to
lot.
me for
It's
that.
exactly where, because I remember Ethan was talking. Ethan asked us, "Do you think Hendon goes in the first round?" And I said, "No way." And I think
Yeah.
this is the perfect spot to take Hendon Hooker. So I like that a lot. You have him sitting the bench for Jared Goff for a year, and then if he's healthy, or I mean, maybe you stick with Jared Goff. Who cares? It's a third round pick. So I like that a lot. Um, the Pats, I like their draft. I thought a lot of people were hating on it. Keon White, he looked pissed when he was drafted. Did you see that?
Oh, I did not see that.
He looked pissed. Like, unbelievably mad. I don't know if that's, hopefully it's not because he's going to the Patriots, but I'm guessing it was because he was in the second round and fell a little bit in the second round. But that guy out of Georgia Tech, I like the edge threat, add more depth to the edge. Add some younger guys to the edge. They got some linemen. They got your boy Chad Ryland. Tell me anything about Chad, kicker.
I don't really know. He's a good kicker, I guess.
Perfect. All right, all I need to know.
Weird to draft kickers. That's what I'll say.
Yeah, I know. They traded up in the 4th to draft him. Traded up, which was weird, but it's a Patriots move.
Interesting. Very interesting.
Hopefully it works out. Hopefully he's not like an anti-Semitic like the last kicker we traded up for. But you know, that's a pretty low bar. So I hope that happens.
Yeah.
But my favorite Patriots pick was Kayshon Boutte at LSU, wide receiver. Booty. That's how you pronounce it. It's not Boutte, it's Booty. And so Booty was supposed to be a first-round pick at the beginning of the year. Some off-the-field stuff. Apparently some character issues. But now he comes to New England, is in the 6th round. I like it a lot. So hopefully, he pans out and he's that guy that we saw in LSU.
Yeah, I mean, like we've pretty well documented the Patriots receiver albums
for
since
many
the start
years
of the
now.
show.
Yeah.
So, I guess it helps. Wait a minute, he was the sex party guy?
Yeah, he was. He was a sex party guy. He was the guy that with the coat. Wasn't he like they're having a? I don't know if I don't think he's a pervert. He's
just like the recruiting assistant and one of the assistant coaches. It was a weird thing.
Yeah, it was a weird LSU problem, and
he
that's
didn't play the bowl game.
No, and that's why he declared for the draft too. He's like, I just gotta get out of here.
Yeah.
Like that's why I just gotta get out of here. So hopefully none of that shenanigans happens in New England. I'm guessing Bill Belichick won't look too fondly on that, but kind of a steal for him to land up in the 6th round, or or not, or it's just another 6th round guy that plays a couple minutes and does nothing. So I don't know. Lot of reward, very little risk. I like it. I hate how the Dolphins had a good draft. They didn't even have a 1st round pick, and they had a good draft. They got Devon Achane, a super fast running back out of Texas A&M, just to add more speed because apparently they just need more speed. And then they got my boy, in the 2nd round. I'm trying to think of his name right now, and I can't think of it. Cam Smith. Got my boy out of South Carolina. Line up next to Jalen Ramsey. God, I hate the Dolphins, but I love it.
Every team that you don't like is having a good draft.
I feel like, I don't know.
The Jets, I guess. I don't think the Jets made any splashes.
No, but they got Rodgers, of course, so that's something. I don't know. It seems like every team, every team this year is like, even this draft, like you were talking about how everyone gave everyone an A. I think just so many people fell, and they just like the Bengals got Jordan Battle in the 3rd round. I think that's a great pick. They got someone.
My wise guy.
Jordan Battle?
DJ
Oh,
Turner.
yeah. No, DJ Turner. Yeah,
the Bengals.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they got your wise guy. Where did so I cheated and
What's your wise guy?
I had Washington. I had Darnell Washington that went to the Steelers, which I think that's a good place for him. I mean, they needed a tight end. I had them taking him at pick 32, so they got him in the 2nd round. Cedric Tillman was my guy that wasn't from South Carolina or Darnell Washington, and he went to the Cleveland Browns, where I think that's a good pick for him too. He went right after his boy Jalen Hyatt. They went back to back, so that's kind of cool. And
that's such a bust, Jalen Hyatt to the Giants.
Oh, I know. It's literally Kadarius Toney. They just got Kadarius Toney again. So they better be excited for that. Who else did I have? My last guy went to the Colts, Darius Rush, and he went late in the 5th round, and I like that a lot too because I was trying to name like Indiana cornerbacks, and I just like couldn't name any of them. So that was a
there it is, Darius Rush. Wait, where did Cam Smith end up?
Cam Smith ended up with the Dolphins.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so not very excited about that, but excited. I mean, he's in a good spot. Excited to see him play, but it's not rootability. All right. Takeaways from the draft. I mean, we could just go pick by pick and talk about like a bunch of these guys, but a lot of it's just like, yeah.
Yeah, I mean the Eagles, like everyone is just sucking them off. It feels like
Yeah, do you see
for
that
good
NFL
reason.
execs were
Greatest
mad
teams.
about
They're
how much
pissed at
people
like
were
Howie Roseman
yeah.
was getting so much hype.
It's like
I
maybe
don't blame
be
him. I'd be pissed.
well, my theory is just be like Harry Roseman then and get good picks. Like I don't know, is that stupid of me to say? Like just get better picks. Do smarter things and you can be paired to higher ones. That pissed me off. Actually the last thing I want to talk about with the draft is there was two mindsets from two different teams going into the draft. The Eagles mindset was let's get every defender from the national championship team that won. And then the Chargers mindset was let's get every national championship team or every offensive player from the national championship team that lost. I don't bold strategy. Let's see if it works out for him. But yeah, so the Chargers get Max Duggan. They got Quentin Johnson the first round, and then they got another wide receiver, Darius Davis in the fourth round. So I don't know. I guess if whatever, but I think that's a pretty bold strategy to pick the guys that got their butt whooped um in the national championship game.
I mean, they still made it there.
That's true. Yeah, they made it there, and you could say, oh well, it's the second best team in the college. So I guess that's a good argument there.
Yeah.
I do before we move on, I do like Stenson Bennett to the Rams. I feel like once Matthew Stafford gets hurt in the middle of the year, Stenson Bennett's just gonna slide right in. We're not gonna even know the difference.
Yes. Wait, fourth round?
Yeah, fourth round.
I was so like disconnected from draft this weekend, which I'm usually not.
Hmm.
Like some of these are surprising to me and crazy. Our kicker got drafted before him though.
Yeah,
We were talking like we're
Pats.
kind of going undrafted.
Yeah, Ethan was talking about him. I told you he wasn't going to go undrafted. He wasn't going to go undrafted.
But I was thinking like seventh round.
Yeah, fourth does seem a little high, but they said afterwards that they loved him, so they got their guy.
I guess I got yeah. I don't think anyone else was in like a rush.
No, I don't think so at all.
I kind of like Aiden O'Connell from Purdue going to the Raiders at the end of the fourth round. Their quarterback. They were like a pretty effective passing offense.
Huh? I didn't even see that. Yeah. That
Stuck in there.
yeah, he did sneak in there. I've never seen this guy. Do you see his mustache?
O'Connell.
Yeah. His mustache makes him look like a baller. I like the pick now. He's in Vegas. Kind of what? I lost you.
He's just like it looks like Zach Edey.
He does kind of look
He's
like
just
Zach
like
Edey.
smushed down a little bit.
Yeah. He does. That is that's an interesting pick. I don't know. I'm sure we'll never see him on the field, but anyways.
Oh, well, I like it.
All right. Is it time to move on? It sucks doing the draft this like late because it's like we just got to run through everything. So
Yeah.
it's like there wasn't a lot of structure.
Like yeah.
What were you saying?
I was just gonna say I'm not a huge fan of the Commanders draft. That's my final takeaway is that I like how they went line in the on two or I guess 3 that would be. Then they got another defensive end and a running back and then another defensive end. So I don't know.
Yeah, the running back's weird. Running back's
they
weird.
Just can't. They can't not take a running back.
Yeah, they do. They
Every
need to
single
take
time.
a quarter. I mean, need to take a running back every time. No, they did have a weird draft. I mean, you're right. Two edges late. The offensive line was nice, but yeah, that definitely a weird draft. It seemed like they could have done more, like maybe a backup quarterback. Maybe I don't know, something.
Forbid.
All right,
Well, Brissett's the backup quarterback.
that's true. You have the best backup quarterback in the league.
Yeah.
Did you see the Pats before we move on signed Malik Cunningham, Lamar too,
Oh, I did not
undrafted
see
free
that.
agent? Yeah, he's got him as an offensive or undrafted free agent. They gave him a pretty lucrative deal for an undrafted free agent. So I don't know if that
Really?
like there's rumors that he might be the next Edelman. He said he's open to switching positions. Maybe they run him as a backup quarterback. Maybe they run him at wide receiver. We'll see. But don't hate it. Definitely don't hate it. All right, time to talk some NBA playoffs. Something we can really,
Yes.
something we have actual opinions on, and not just, we'll see what happens here. But we'll start it off with last night's game. Celtics lose in horrific fashion yet again. Completely
Oh, I thought we were
collapsed.
going to talk about the Suns and Nuggets. The Suns come back from down 0-2. I guess we could talk about the Celtics, though.
Let me just get it out of the way. This game sucked. This game sucked. Derek White was doing nothing. Malcolm Brogdon was doing good until the fourth quarter, until he completely just threw it to Tyrese Maxey right at the end of the possession. Jason Tatum was good until crunch time. Jaylen Brown really couldn't hit any. I mean, he couldn't hit much. It just when you're shooting the field goal percentage so well, like at halftime they were shooting 75% and they were up by 4. There was no defense the whole
It's
game
crazy. Like, I don't. No, there was not.
by either team really, and James Harden just reverted. Like that was James Harden that we saw. And it was honestly, I didn't realize that it could have been my biggest fear. And now it's my biggest fear.
You're going to get that Harden for a full series?
I don't know. I didn't think we were going to get this Harden for one game. So, I mean, I didn't think he'd be able to do anything. I thought like, oh, Harden, Maxey's going to have to get like 35. Tobias Harris going to have to get a ton. And Harden's going to have to get like 20-something. James Harden just put the team on his back, 45, and I know they only won by 4, but they don't have Embiid, and now the home field advantage goes to them. I mean, I know Game 7's in Boston, but if they just take care of business at home, they win the series. The Celtics need to get their head out of their ass. This ain't a joke anymore. Like, this needs to stop happening. Every series so far, or every game so far, it's like they start out and they think they're just going to blow out the team by 20, and they don't play, like, I swear to God, there wasn't a play ran that whole fucking second half. It wasn't a play run, and there was just no urgency from the Boston Celtics, and it pissed me off. It made me so mad. When Tatum has 39, you shouldn't lose ever. But I guess Harden got 45, so, that counts after each other. Dude, I don't even know what to say. They just need to get their head out of their ass.
The Marcus Smart possession at the end of the game, it's almost like a microcosm
Which one?
of the second half.
Which
Like
one?
the last possession.
There was like 4 of them that were awful. I mean, every single possession in that last 5 minutes was shit. It was absolute bogus. Oh my God. I mean, Tatum was just going to he was just going to the rim and flopping and then not finishing the layup and looking for foul calls, just like it was in the finals last year. And it's like, dude, just attack the rim, shoot your threes, shoot some mid-range. For God's sake, shoot some mid-range. And just make sure they go in. Don't worry about the foul that's going to happen or whatever. I mean, holy shit. We had Sam Hauser out there for 5 minutes doing nothing. Grant Williams out there getting cardio for 4 minutes. And I was
excited to see him out there.
I was too. I was like, great, Grant Williams is out there. Like, let's get the tires going. God, man, they had Paul Reed at center and he got 13 rebounds against us.
Ball. He also got chewed out on the bench. Did you see that?
Yeah, I did see that. I don't know what he was getting chewed out for.
PJ Tucker.
But PJ Tucker went off on him. I mean, Smart played terrible. Derek White played terrible. Jaylen Brown did not play up to his standards. So there is some things to point at and be like, those are things can improve. But if they don't take this seriously, the Sixers are gonna advance, and I like I don't know. I have very little faith in my Boston Celtics anymore.
Through one game, you're already like
That was bad.
faith.
That was
Do you think
bad.
it's what they needed? Maybe they just needed a wake up call. Like you're not playing the Hawks anymore.
The wake up call was having to go to Game 6. The wake up call was Trae Young hitting in your
Yes,
face. That was the wake up call.
it was like the same game.
It was like the same
Except
game. It was a complete and utter
wasn't
collapse.
as big of a meltdown. I don't think because at least it was like kind of back and forth at the end. The Hawks they were up, but they were up 8 with like 4 minutes left. I don't know. The Harden thing is concerning. And he's been so off and on throughout the playoffs so far. Like he's had games where we're like, is this the Rockets Harden? And then like the next game he puts up like 2 of 18 on the floor. So I don't know. It's like it's very hit or miss. But if you can get that Harden for 4 or 5 games out of the 7, then it could be trouble.
Yeah.
And maybe it was just like it could have just been a one-time thing. Like Embiid's out, and they need somebody to step up, and maybe he actually relied on that. It's not on him all the time, and then he gets one game to be the guy. Not all the pressure is on him because Embiid's not even out the rest of the series, but
yeah,
we'll see.
and with me, there is some hope when it comes to they had 16 turnovers. I mean, you're not going to win a game when you have 16 turnovers compared to the other team having 6. So that needs to get cut down. So just they need Joe Mazzulla to coach. That's what they need. Because right now they're just players out there playing on the floor. They need a stable coach in there, and I hope to God Joe Mazzulla can put a game plan together for Game 2. Because now Game 2 is a must-win. Can't lose both at home. Can't be down 0-2 going to Philly. So
yeah, no.
And there's many. I mean, this could just be an overreaction on my point. Maybe maybe the Celtics bring it to them tomorrow at 8. But I mean, every day is back to back. Sorry, every other day is a game. So they're gonna have to put in their full effort and grind their heart out. And hopefully that's a dub for the Celtics, who's generally a healthier team. Seems like a healthier team. A lot of younger players instead of an aging Harden. But if Harden gets this, as you said, for 2 to 3 more games this series, it's gonna be trouble.
I would not be too worried. The biggest issue is that you now have to win Game 2 at home, but then it's a 5-game series. Yes, you lost home court, but all you have to do is win 1 in Philly to get that back.
Yeah, and they could definitely win 1 in Philly.
Done before.
Yeah, it's not impossible. And maybe it was just like, hey, we have the Sixers number. They're all like the past 3 years. There's not even any Embiid, and they just didn't think that this game was going to be the Harden game. But they better not think of that ever again. And I just hate that I see so little effort. That's what bothers me.
Mm-hmm.
It's so little effort. All right, you want to move on to the next game of the day?
The last thing I'll say is there could be a reality in which they are like gassed. Made a finals run last year. You had your whole team basically healthy all year and in all the games. It's hard to go back. Hard to make back-to-back finals runs.
No, yeah, exactly. I mean, it makes sense. That's definitely a possibility. I don't see how they're 25 and 26 years old. They're 2 best players. How they could possibly be already gassed from playing so much basketball. But, that is a possibility. Maybe they were gassed and just thought maybe we could take this one a little bit easier. No Embiid. So I like that. I'm losing hope, but of course, as you said, there's plenty of games left to play, and they got to take care of business tomorrow. If they lose tomorrow, I'm done. They're not gonna win and I'm almost to the point like I'm so close to just they're not gonna win the finals. Like that's what I'm at, and hopefully that mentality, You know,
They were they were plus 130 going into this series to win the NBA Finals. No team was like better than plus 500 for them.
but they need to actually perform like it.
I know.
It could be projections all year long. They gotta actually perform like it.
Win game 2 and you're fine.
I know, and I know that's just where I'm at. That's just where my head is. I'm a biased playoff watcher, so that's where I'm at right now. And I hate how
It's
it's
impossible not to be.
yeah. Yeah, it is impossible not to be. All right. Suns now down 0-2 to the Denver Nuggets. They had a poor
The
performance by Kevin Durant this game. And they had a pretty good game from Devin Booker, but if you don't have him and Devin Booker lighting it up, the team's not good enough. That's just how it. Like, they have to win all these games if they're gonna win more playoff series and maybe the NBA championship. They need Kevin Durant and Devin Booker scoring at least 30 a game. And if they don't have that, they're not gonna come close.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the box score doesn't tell the whole story, but the Suns, it gives you a pretty good idea of what the issue is, and it's the same issue that we've talked about since we previewed the playoffs, and that's that there's no depth. Like, if you have an off night from Durant, you're basically screwed. You have Booker that's going to put up points every night, and then with Chris Paul, maybe he's just too old, but he's been like a non-factor in the first 2 games. It is encouraging to see the Nuggets actually play defense.
Yeah, and it's easy to play defense against Josh Okogie and Damian Lee and Cam Payne, Torian Craig, Bismack Biyombo. Like, these guys are clowns. These are not NBA players that should be playing in the playoffs. They don't have they don't have the depth. And as you said, the Nuggets played good defense. Jamal Murray had an off game and it didn't matter too much. Jokic put up big numbers, 39 and 16, and they're just I mean, like, I'm surprised that Christian Brown off the bench didn't go off or Jeff Green didn't go off because they can't defend wing players unless it's Kevin Durant on them. So
Yeah.
the Suns have a handful ahead of them because the Nuggets only scored 97 points, and that's not going to last throughout the whole series. They're going to be scoring more than that as they did in Game 1. So it's looking. If I'm a Suns fan, I have less hope than, of course, less hope than my Celtics do right now. But I'm not looking very fond about this series. I think it could be a sweep.
No, not at all. Well, let's see what happens when they get back to Phoenix. Maybe it's like these role players when they play at home, like they'll have a little more confidence, a little more energy. Chris Paul, I feel like is the bigger issue though. For me,
He's just done.
it's almost like Durant has taken over the team, and I'm wondering if it's been like more detrimental than it has positive for them. Like he just commands the ball so much when he's not on, and it's almost like the same problem that the Nets had when they had Grant and Harden and Irving. Like, it didn't work at all, and I think Durant deserves some of the blame for that.
Yeah, Durant can't
And
hit
I'd
only
be
2 threes. That's just not
yeah.
that how it works. I mean, he needs to get, if he's taken, as you said, if he's taken the control of this team, he needs to actually take control and actually take
Mhm.
responsibility of this team and scoring points. And I mean, it's a lot on Kevin Durant's plate. You got to give him that. And they also
I think
traded a lot of their depth for Kevin Durant. So it's going to be, I mean, let's not talk off season yet, but it's going to be interesting to see how they build the rest of this team around him with the off season of Kevin Durant and see what happens to Chris Paul, because as you said, Chris Paul has not been a factor this game. Even his like, he had 6 assists, but he can get more. He's the point guard. Come on now. So and even if he's not scoring, which he hasn't been, he needs to be a bigger impact on this team.
well, I don't even know, like he's not healthy either.
No.
We'll see if he's like actually hurt to the point where he's gonna miss games. But even if he's not, old man with a hamstring injury is not good.
No, it's never good.
Um, groin, I guess, not hamstring.
Any of his injuries, yeah, it was a groin, I believe. I thought that they said he was questionable for game 2. So, but Chris Paul's gonna be injured in the playoffs. Like that's what you got to expect when you're going in and you're the Phoenix Suns.
But it would suck. It would be so unfortunate for another team to make a move for Kevin Durant and have it not work out. It's like in terms of star power, this is easily the most talented team in the NBA.
Yeah,
Oh,
star
and
wise.
like this,
Well,
like this is the team that probably expected to win the finals the most out of any team.
you know what
You have
name we
both
haven't talked
Durant
about?
and Chris Paul.
What name we haven't mentioned at all, and is another factor for why they're down, is DeAndre Ayton. He has been a
Yeah,
nothing. He's been a nothing this whole series. Did you see the clip that went viral of game 1 when Jokic is just him and Durant are fighting for a rebound and just they keep fighting. They like Jokic keeps putting it up and keeps getting the rebound, and DeAndre Ayton is standing off the court on on the baseline, just watching it happen.
yeah.
How do you I just don't understand how he was the first overall pick and hasn't improved at all and doesn't have that chip on his shoulder to want to improve. It seems like I I don't get like he was the problem in their finals run too when they did make it to the finals. So they need more out of him to become the team that they want to be, and they haven't gotten it.
There's always been like something off about Ayton, and this isn't great analysis because I don't really know how to describe it. It's like, and remember when in the off season, and it was like we didn't even know if he was gonna stay
Hmm.
in Phoenix or not. It was like they kind of like they needed him to stay, but it's like he's not that great for #1 pick. He's supposed to be a little better than he was, and like he was awesome the playoffs the year they made the finals, and then felt like something just went awry there. I'm not sure what it was, but you're right. Like that's another factor I haven't really heard people criticizing him for because he's the fourth notable player on this team. Like he's supposed to be a superstar. He's not.
Yeah, they picked him over Luca. I mean, this is a guy that I mean, he's a good center that you need, but he needs to be a great center. And
Yeah.
I think the thing that you were describing, like the thing that you were talking about, is he looks like a 40-year-old man. That's his issue.
He looks like he has 2 grandkids.
He does, yeah, that's his issue. And he needs to stop playing like he's 40 years old and start playing like he's 25 or whatever, however old he is.
Yeah.
24. So he still has, I mean, he still has a long career ahead of him, but
24.
yeah, it is crazy that he's 24. Must have been drafted at like 19. But
Yeah, well, I'm sure he
anyways,
was.
needs to play better. So, Sunday gave us the best 2 words in basketball. Game 7. Game 7 versus Kings and the Warriors in Sacramento. Sadly, the beam was not lit, and that was due to a 50 burger from Steph Curry. Steph was just everywhere in this game. It was him and Looney just controlled the whole game. Looney got 21 rebounds. It seemed like he could have gotten 10 more. Like that guy was like he was like Bill Russell out there. And they like him and Curry were just it was like a dynamic duo. He'd get the rebound, pass to Curry, and Curry would do whatever he wanted on offense. Sadly for the Kings, it just seemed like the clock hit midnight for them. You know, they just turned back into a
Yeah.
pumpkin. You can look at De'Aaron Fox. You know, he had he had 2 broken fingers. Didn't really affect him in Game 6, but in Game 7, definitely it seemed like it hurt him. He didn't have a good game. Malik Monk didn't do as well as he could have. But Terrence Davis off the bench, he was like trying to counteract Steph Curry's attack. Every time he was just like, let's just chuck up a 3, and he would make them. But
Mm.
they need I feel like the Kings, they need to move on from Harrison Barnes, upgrade that spot because he was nothing the past 2 games. And other than that, I mean, they have a great young team. that they want to work with. They have a great head coach. So there's stuff to improve on. Kevin Herter had a bad series, Chris. Yeah, he had a really, really
I don't know what to
poor
say.
series.
I can't defend him. He's been atrocious.
No, he's
And
been
even kind of, I
terrible.
think like towards the end of the regular season, even wasn't great. This series was not good. Which is weird because at first I was like, oh well, he's like a young guy that hasn't really had much experience in the playoffs. He was on the Hawks team that beat the Sixers for the Eastern Conference Finals, and he had like best performance in a Game 7
The lights were
in
just too
Philly.
bright for him
So
this time. The beam was
like the beam was too
the
bright.
beam was too bright.
I don't know. Yeah. Maybe they just like expended all of their energy in Game 6 to win that game. Golden
Yeah,
State.
I think they did.
I thought that it was over. Like when they lost Game 5, I thought the series was over. But for a team that's been so efficient offensively, come out and score only 100 points and to shoot as poorly as they did, they shot 12 of 47 from three, shot 37% from the floor overall, 59% from the line. Like I mean, the Curry performance is legendary, but I mean, not to discredit what he did, but they could have won without a 50 burger from Curry.
Oh, definitely.
Like,
I
this
mean,
was just
he didn't.
game right by the
Yeah, he didn't need 19 of those points, so it makes sense. The thing for me, I mean, if you're a Kings fan, you're leaving this series. You held the champions to 7 games. You had a dream season. You made it to the playoffs for the first time in 17 years. There's not much you can complain about. So if you're a Kings fan, you hold your head up high. You had a great season, and this was kind of the outcome we all expected. So I didn't expect to go to Game 7. It's funny. It's great NBA like overreaction when it was like, are the Kings gonna sweep them? Are the Kings gonna sweep the Warriors?
game.
That was a legit thing that we talked about, and that a bunch of other NBA podcasts I listened to talked about too. So always interesting to see that type of stuff. But Warriors take care of business. Now they're facing the Los Angeles Lakers. LeBron versus Curry yet again, and Adam Silver is just printing money.
Oh yeah.
This
Uh,
is gonna be an incredible series.
I hope so. I can only hope so. I don't see why it wouldn't be, but it is kind of like the other option for the NBA was the Grizzlies Kings.
Oh
Which
yeah.
is what Adam Silver is like. Maybe tried to rig it a little bit, but didn't really need to. I guess like that Lakers team was just a lot better than the Grizzlies. They wiped them off the floor at Game 6. I feel like the Grizzlies need to do an internal audit or something.
Well, do you
This
see?
is a team that's been top 2 seed. The Dylan Brooks thing.
Yes.
Was hilarious. Under no circumstances.
Under no circumstances will we bring
He'd
you
be
back.
on this roster again. That was funny. He's not even a bad player either. Like,
No, he just
just
no, he's just a shithead. Like he's not a bad player at all. But like, how do you poke the bear at LeBron and then do nothing to back it up? So
just put up a brick fest game after game.
They have been the most disappointing year or most disappointing team like every year. They always talk all this shit whenever they're up and then never back it up. So they've also become, they went from like the most likable young team to like the least likable young team.
Oh
So,
yeah, like all the Jaw stuff, and then on Brooks more on. Then I feel like everyone's actually been rooting for LeBron this year, which isn't normal. Other than like the real LeBron haters. Like, I could be wrong about that, but I feel like people want to see LeBron go deep.
No, I think you're right. It seems like they want to like it. I think it was just more of the hate of the Grizzlies and Dylan Brooks. Like, don't disrespect the best player in the league by saying something stupid like that. So I do think there's been a lot of LeBron fans coming out the woodworks this year, and I think this Warriors series is gonna release some more, just because people are tired of the Warriors. I think so. To go against, I mean, and LeBron, the Warriors already have a rivalry, and they already have sides chosen one or the other for the past 7 years or whatever. So, but it's going to be a fun series. It's going to be fun to see two of the best players to ever touch a basketball, go against each other in the second
Mm.
round. Um, and it'll be funny too if like this goes to 7, everyone's like, oh, one of these two teams is gonna go to the championship, and then just like the Nuggets roll them. I think that'd be hilarious. Like both teams, like either of the teams,
I
it's just like
I
the
kind of
Nuggets
feel like
roll it.
this might be the year for the Nuggets.
It's looking like it. They I hope so too. They deserve to at least go to a finals.
It would it would take a lot of the heat off Jokic
Oh
for them to
yeah.
finally go. But like maybe it's a year where like the Bucks won,
Hmm.
where it's like things just kind of work out that way, and then they can prove that Jokic actually is the top 3 player in the league. Which it's almost like he's the best player that no one really takes seriously.
Oh, he's the best
Like,
player that
oh,
nobody
like look at
talks
this cool
about.
pass by Jokic, but then it's like, oh yeah, but look at him, he's fat and they can't win in the playoffs.
Yes,
So it's like it's kind of
exactly
sad that
it.
he doesn't get the respect that he deserves, and like we're partly to blame. Like we don't really talk about him.
No, yeah, we fall
But
right into it,
back-to-back MVPs.
and nobody cares. Nobody cares.
No one gives a rip. It's like the Jazz last few years. Like the Jazz were the 1 seed in the playoffs. And it was like, no,
Yeah, so yeah, exactly.
who cares?
And you're right.
So
It's we care once we start to see results. So if we
that's right.
see
Yeah.
the
And
Nuggets
is
go
it
far,
unfair that that's the way the league is? Maybe a little bit, but that's the way the league is. That's the way that all sports are.
mm-hmm. I agree. I 100% agree, and
Especially
I
when you're
hope it's the Nuggets
Denver.
time.
It's like it's not like it's New. If Jokic was in New York, like Porzingis when he was in New York was way bigger than Jokic is now. We weren't even making the playoffs. It's serious.
I'm
Like
laughing because you're right.
Brunson is bigger than
Oh, I
Jokic
know.
is.
I know.
Brunson's huge right now.
That's a perfect transition. Let's go to the Knicks. They take care of business against the Cavs. Now are facing the Heat. Lost game 1 to the Zombie Heat. I told everyone about Kevin Love. Told everyone.
I was gonna say, can we please talk about that game 5? We didn't get a chance to Friday. That dude it felt like was pulling up from the logo. Like before he fouled out, Kevin Love was on a heater.
Oh, Kevin Love he's had a great playoffs. He's back in he's a starter. He's a goddamn starter now. And I don't know how the Cavaliers just gave him for free to
Yeah,
the Heat, but the Heat they're right in it. Playing against the New York Knicks. First game was not good for the Knicks. It seemed like it just kind of, I think it surprised the Knicks how good the Heat were. Like it seemed like the Knicks were just like not ready for what the Heat were bringing. And I mean, Jimmy Butler had another great game. You got a Gabe Vincent game of 20 points. And I do think that this series can still go far, go 7. I think the Knicks can still possibly win it. But they got to make sure RJ Barrett doesn't collapse in the fourth quarter. That fourth quarter I was watching of RJ Barrett was just that was why I called him washed. And it was a different game, but those are the reasons why I called him washed at age 22. I mean, he was just throwing the ball over, chucking up terrible threes, just brick after brick after brick.
Yeah, I mean, and it makes sense. It's like all of these guys, aside from Brunson, I guess, are playing in their first like real playoffs here. Like you're in the second round of the playoffs. Like this is not just let's get some experience. Like this is we've now narrowed a team down to teams where we're actually starting to think about could we win the finals.
Yeah, I mean these guys are
Like, it's
playing
not just
for.
we're happy to be here anymore, and now so the pressure is doubled in the second round.
Yeah, and like this is, as you said, these teams are playing for the Eastern Conference Finals and a chance to make it to the NBA Finals. So, if I were a betting man, it seems like Jimmy Butler's on a heater, and it seems like they know what they're doing. But I'm just looking at this Heat team, and it's like, God, they have to play Duncan Robinson. They have to have a big game from Kyle Lowry.
Yeah, Robinson.
They have to play Caleb Martin, Max Strus, and Gabe Vincent.
Cody Zeller has
Cody
been out
Zeller.
there.
And like
Vincent
big
hit
minutes
the big
from
shot
them.
against the Bucks, though. Like, he's been pretty good.
That's the thing, and they're playing well. So it's like you can look at them on paper and say like this is a pretty bad depth, but they know what they're doing. They're super well coached. Spoelstra deserves all the praise in the world, and It seems like the Knicks do need Randall though.
Mhm.
It seemed like they were missing
Yeah,
him a lot.
yeah.
So,
I mean, he was like kind of the one that at least last year,
mhm.
or like when they first signed him, he was a guy who elevated that team to the next level.
Did
And
you
for
see?
as bad as he has been, it's the Cavs. Like they still won that series in 5, and now
Mhm.
like not having him is gonna hurt for sure.
The Did you see that Jimmy Butler though might be out for game 2 with that?
Apparently, the ankle was like a baseball.
Really?
That's what I read.
So
That's
right
what I
now
read.
it says the status is still up in the air. He said he's getting ankle treatment ahead of game 2. Um, I mean that sucks. As a guy who possibly will be playing Jimmy Butler, I'm not excited that he's injured, but I'm more happy. All right, I'm either way bad
Still
that it's
safe.
yeah. I'm just gonna say it. I'm not gonna say anything.
It
Great. It
would be
sucks that he's injured.
hilarious for you guys to run into the Heat again.
I will just lose my mind. I would absolutely lose my mind. But so maybe no Jimmy Butler game 2. Still status up in the air for Julius Randle. When is that next game? Is that today? Oh, it's
Night.
today at
Yeah,
7:30. Oh, okay.
couple hours.
Damn, and there's still no Jimmy Butler update. I don't like that. That's
No sign of Jimmy Butler yet in pregame,
oh,
but it's still 2 hours before the game.
it's Jimmy Butler.
It could
If
literally
he's
mean
if
nothing.
he's making it to pregame, he's playing. Like let's not go crazy here.
Also, it's like you might just want to sit him out. You could say the same thing about Embiid. You won game 1 on the road. Worst case scenario is you come back and you have
Yeah, and it's
home
2-2.
court.
I agree.
Don't risk anything else. I think the Sixers should do the same with Embiid.
Yeah, I like that. That's smart. So those are
Also,
the
a
games coming today,
sprained ankle, like I don't know how much better that can get over a few days.
and it might
That's what
get
it
worse.
is.
It might just be better to him get the adrenaline of a basketball game
Yeah,
and just fight through it. So it could go either way.
just stick some Novocaine in him.
So for little wise picks for today, we're not gonna add tomorrow's game because that's what screwed us last time. Today's picks.
Tomorrow games.
Let's go. I don't know the line, so let me look at it real quick.
I'm on
And
FanDuel right now.
as you can tell, we
I think the
thoroughly
Knicks.
prepped.
Yeah,
for this
Knicks. Knicks -7. Warriors -5.
Knicks minus. Oh, so that's sevens because they don't think Jimmy Butler's playing.
They were like 5-point favorites in the first game.
All right, let's go. Let's go Knicks money line. Lakers plus 4.5.
Okay.
You like it?
+5. Let's take
Oh,
that,
okay. Yeah, we'll take it +5. Cool. So that would be. It's
I
only
think
5.
this is a game where the Knicks have to come out and good performance. So I actually don't hate the -7. I like the Lakers pick because like Warriors coming off of a game 7, but you had like a heroic performance. Like there's probably a little bit of room for regression there. Whereas the Lakers like had posted to a series win Saturday. So not only if they had an extra day's rest, but like less.
Yeah, less.
And LeBron as an underdog feels like it's always a good pick.
I agree. I hate how the Celtics are 10-point favorites tomorrow. That makes me so mad.
It's the same line as it was last night.
I know. Did I not watch what happened last night? Oh God.
-510 to win the game. Insane.
Yeah, money line's minus 500. God's sakes.
That is ridiculous.
I hate it. All right. Well,
I like
they
the under. I feel like they'll actually learn how to play defense.
they
They're 216.5.
the Philadelphia 76ers are plus 600 or 160 to win the series.
Plus 400 yesterday for the
Ugh.
game, obviously.
Yeah, so I guess it went down a little bit.
That's what winning a game on the road does for you.
That makes sense. All
Went
right,
down a lot.
Hunter Dickinson. Any
Nothing.
updates? Nothing.
No, I've been like keeping an eye on it. It seems like he announced that he still doesn't know. That's what they had the podcast
So yeah,
for.
he did a Rogers.
Yes, he did a Rogers. Well, Rogers at least went on the podcast and said what he planned to do.
I like breaking.
Happened immediately.
This is a quote by Jack Pilgrim on Twitter. Breaking. The school Hunter Dickinson is going to attend to next season is, I'm not sure yet, says Hunter Dickinson.
it'll be a Barstool Instagram, like a live stream.
Is he a Barstool athlete?
Yeah, the podcast is a Barstool podcast.
Oh, okay.
And if you know Marty Mush, who's a clown, then Gordon Bohannon, who played at Iowa, their podcast. Horrible like production quality. And they said they were going on at 4:30 and they didn't go until like 4:45.
Oh, how dare they?
Pretty embarrassing.
How dare they? We would never say we're starting a pod and start at 15 minutes late. We would never do that.
But we don't have 3,000 streamers waiting.
That's true. That's true.
A big announcement to make.
Yeah, that's true. One day we will, but that's not today.
Yes.
Sorry, I'm reading the comments. Dennis was going off. He said I had a bushy beard, and he said your room is small as hell. Or he said fuck. He was small as fuck.
Small.
And then he said, how many times are you gonna change up the font of your title? It changes every episode, pal. Get with the program, Dennis.
I wonder if he's been. I feel like I haven't seen him around much.
No, neither have I. It's first. He's clearly he's always looking, lurking.
He's too good for us.
Yeah, honestly, he's going to listen to Hunter Dickinson podcast.
He was a bit too busy waiting for the round ball stream to start. Just never did.
So, college corner.
Back to basketball. I also kind of like the over in the Nuggets game tomorrow. Not that we're giving out official picks. Wait, that's Friday. What?
Yeah, they play again Friday, which I think is weird.
They have 3 days off.
Yeah, no Thursday game. You're not even gonna give us a Thursday game. That's weird. I don't like that at all.
Plus, the Lakers Warriors play game 2 Thursday. The Celtics are every other day. Game 3 is in Philly is Friday.
Yep. So the Nuggets just get this.
That's really strange.
You get a lackadaisy schedule, I guess.
I'd be pissed if I was them. For the Suns, it's nice. It's also like you're going from Colorado to Arizona. It's not that far.
Yeah, that's weird. There's no. Actually, yeah, game 2 is Thursday. You're right. So the Lakers and Warriors have to play back to back, and the Celtics and Sixers have to play back to back, but the Nuggets get 3 days off.
That's weird. Not back to back, every other day.
Every other, yeah. And then, all right,
should be.
It's every other day after this. After this Friday game, it's every other day. So I guess they just wanted it on combating schedules or whatever.
Oh, I guess it's because they also started early. Like they played game 1 Saturday night, I think.
Oh, you're right. They did.
They already got it. But like, why do that?
Yeah, why not just start later?
For wrapping up their series quickly. Anyway, who cares?
You got any other college corner?
Ranked in baseball again.
Nice.
3rd in the country.
23rd, you said?
Maybe we can creep up. Yeah, maybe we can creep up to 16.
That'd be nice.
It's a regional again. Doubt it, but it's nice to see them in the rankings again. They've won 20 straight Big Ten series, I think the stat was.
Wow.
Which is kind of a testament to how bad Big Ten is at baseball, but regardless, it's very impressive.
That is impressive. I'm happy for you. We're the number.
Scored
we're
140 runs in 10 games, so they're averaging 14 runs a game.
It's pretty nice. All right.
Number 3.
Number 3. Yeah, I'm excited.
You scoring 14 runs a game though?
It was up there. It was up there at the beginning of the season. I don't think it's up there anymore, but
I couldn't imagine.
Anyways, so we got BJ Mack, the basketball team, the guy that we wanted for ever since the transfer portal, ever since he entered the transfer portal. Really good pickup for us. We've got every guy that we've gotten has been 6'8", 6'7". I think like 6'6". So we're getting big boys. We're getting the kid, one of our signees from high school's 6'7". We're getting big guys. We're getting we got two guys from Finland. Um,
Finishers.
say again.
Finishers.
I don't know what you're saying.
Finishers.
Finishers. Yes. All right. You're
Boring marketing.
Yeah. Yeah, no, they're two finishers. They committed together. So hopefully that is a good sign that they have some chemistry behind them already. They're 2024. So I don't know if that means that they're next year or not. I'm guessing that means that they're the year after. Anyways. But we got him, we got them, we got BJ Mack. It's looking good basketball wise. We're looking on the up and up. Looks like Lamont's putting some pieces together, and I'm excited to see them play. Also, some I won't know anything until August, but I did have a phone interview today with the managers of the basketball team. So there could be a new little tidbit to our college corner, and I could be out there on the sidelines holding some clipboards, helping out Lamont and the gang. Yeah, possibly.
There you go. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
they said that they're looking for some younger guys, but they liked what I said, and they're gonna keep me in touch. So we'll see. But either way, I'll be there at all the games. So I'm excited to see this team play.
You'd have some insider information. Assuming as a
Yeah, I don't know how that would work.
I don't know if you could share it.
I was gonna say, yeah, I don't know how that would
It's
work.
not the squad on it,
but definitely would have some sort of insider information. I mean, I got insider info on because I know one of the managers. That's why I got this opportunity, and he was the one that told me that they're pushing hard for BJ Mack. So, yeah. I want to see what our transfer portal ranking is now, because I hope it's decently up there. That'd be nice. Chico Carter did officially commit to DePaul, so that sucks. But do we have our rankings? Look at us, number 13. Love it. Absolutely love it.
Good.
Hmm?
We also got a word from Indiana to mention. It's just
you guys did?
Like a scrappy guy. Yeah. Rebounder, high motor guy.
Yeah, you guys haven't. Do you think it's all just focusing on Hunter Dickinson? Because you guys haven't done a lot in the transfer portal. Seems like to me.
Yeah, well, we also have a pretty good recruiting class coming in, and we got 2 starters back. We got a shooting guard in the portal, and then a 3-point shooter, and then we have Jameer, Dante, and Reese coming back. They'll all start, obviously. Then one of our recruits is supposed to be good enough to start. And yeah, then it depends on Hunter. But I think that they're done, even if they don't get Hunter. They're still set up pretty well.
All right.
Someone else is gonna have to transfer if they end up signing Dickinson.
Well, there you go. You got yourself a completed team. That's nice. All right. Well, any other things you want to wrap this up with? Got an hour 30 pod.
You want to talk about the Bruins collapsing at all?
I don't know anything about it.
Meltdown.
I heard it was a meltdown. My Twitter was pretty.
They were the best team in history of hockey, and they blew a 3-1 lead as the 1 seed.
Yeah, I heard. That's not great.
You in shambles?
I'm not personally. No, my Kraken won a playoff series, so I'm chilling.
That's right. Yeah, beat the defending champs.
Yeah, they did. They took down what was the Avalanche. There you go. I know my.
I think they were banged up though. Not to take it away from the Kraken, but
I could not tell you. Whatsoever. Are the Panthers at least good? Florida Panthers?
I don't know, because they were the best team in hockey last year. I don't know what changed.
And didn't the Bruins have like a goalie injured?
I don't know.
All right, this is great. This is
I
hockey
just know.
talk. This is excellent.
Hockey talk.
Hockey talk.
Just know they lost.
Yeah, it was pretty. I heard it was pretty sad on my Twitter, but I didn't care. I, I'm just gonna be. I'm sorry. I didn't care. They did blow it though. That was a pretty monstrous collapse. When you're up 3-1, you're the best team in hockey. Can't win one more game.
Yeah, it's a shame.
Yeah, whatever. It's been a bad. It's been a bad couple years for Boston sports, hasn't it? So
Yeah, it's really tough
it really
to
is.
I feel for you guys.
I know. I know. I just don't know why there's more.
Sometimes it keeps me up at night.
Yeah, I don't know why there's not more sympathy just flowing through my DMs. Just people just like, oh, sorry about the Celtics loss. That's all I want. That's all I need. All right. Well, that was our podcast. A pretty disorganized podcast, I'm not gonna lie, but we had to recap a lot from what we missed. We'll see everyone Tuesday. Or no, today's Tuesday. God, sorry. I ended my last final, and it's like I have no idea what's going on. So, well, we'll see everyone on Friday. Enjoy your week. If you're doing finals this week, good luck. If you're normal and not doing finals this week, keep it strong, keep it going. All right, we'll see you on Friday. That's one way to end a pod. Thanks all for listening.